Hey, I'm J Larsen. I am here to teach you how to generate more leads online. Now, I have done other videos in the past on how to increase sales online. That's obviously very different, and if you haven't seen that video, I encourage you to go watch that. Today, I'm going to focus specifically on leads and 3 ways that you can do that for your business today. All right, now as I mentioned in this little introduction here, there's a huge difference obviously between a lead and a sale. And there are different strategies for that. Now I'll tell you though that every business, especially internet business, if it does not have a consistent source of leads and cash flow, sales, it dies, right? So these are 2 things you have to go continue to figure out post-product launch. And I think it blindsides some entrepreneurs. But I want to give you guys 3 simple things to think about in order to generate more leads on the internet. The first one really is location. Let me illustrate what I mean here. I have 3 amazing little girls. I will sometimes go put them in my truck and we will get in the truck and we will go to the farmer's market, right? I don't know, just for fun sometimes. Now that's actually the point. I get in the truck and I go to the farmer's market because I'm not the market. Okay, when I was in college, stick with me for a second. When I was in college and I was getting my marketing degree, they would often ask, Steve, who is your target market? And that is an incomplete sentence. It's not even a statement. There's no such thing as a person being a target market. It's not who is your target market, it's where is your target market. A market is not a person, it's a place. And this is one of the biggest reasons people will have a hard time generating leads on the internet. They think a market is a person. It is not, it is a location. Even though it's the internet, you still need to know the locations to go to, right? That's why I get in the truck, I put my kids in the car, and we go to the market because I'm not the market. I'm just the dream person going there to that location to exchange and buy and talk with other sellers. Does that make sense? What does this have to do with leads? What this has to do with leads is that people will not know the location, even if it's virtual, where their leads and their best leads come from. And so they end up fishing just anywhere where they get a bite. So they end up getting crappy leads or inconsistent quality of leads. Or they start getting leads where people, you know what, from this pond over here, I really should not be selling that pond. They don't do very well with my product. Not everyone is your dream buyer. And not each location has your dream person going to it. One more illustration here with this. One of the first products that I ever launched that did quite well was it almost failed because I was fishing, right, on the internet, but I was fishing from the locations that honestly was generating a terrible buyer. It wasn't until I said, okay, about 3 months goes by and I was talking to one of my first employees. We were bootstrapping out of a bedroom in my house and we were just working our faces off. And I was like, something's wrong with this product. What is it? Something's wrong with our marketing. What is it? And what we realized was that the place I was fishing from, the place I was getting my leads from, was attracting the wrong kind of fish, right? It was bringing the wrong kind of buyer in. So instead of changing my whole product and instead of changing my whole message and everything, we just changed where we were fishing. Better fish, better buyers, better success rate, better business. And that one piece right there is what honestly saved it, and we crossed the million pretty quick with that one. Pretty automated as well. So I want you to understand that the first hiccup that happens, how do I generate more leads online? Don't fish everywhere, all right? Don't go to every marketplace. Don't go everywhere where there's like a little interest, a little nibble. What you want to do is you want to think through who you're actually trying to attract and get to know their problem. And I kind of proverbially look over their shoulder and I'm like, what market locations, what marketplaces are you already going to? Okay, boom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sweet. I get to choose one of those locations out of the 5. That's the first major mistake people make when they're trying to generate more leads online for their business. They just go anywhere. And because of that, they get anybody. And because of that, honestly, not everyone's a dream buyer, right? And you can build a business that you hate, and it happens a lot. That's how to skip that major problem, though. All right, the second thing you need to know when generating more leads online, now that you know like locations, where to go, think about this. What if you were to walk into a mall or a food court and stand on a table and say, hey, I have this amazing product, it's super cool, who's interested in it? So let's say that now you've understood, I gotta go to a dream location, I gotta go fish in the right ponds. What kind of bait do you use? How do you actually get them to bite, right? How does that actually happen? So we call that a hook, and it's one of the reasons why it's actually called a hook. A hook is something that gets somebody's attention, turns their attention straight to you so that you can start to sell them. It basically is the introduction to your sales message. And fixing a hook, one of the most important parts of a profitable sale and sales message. Everything can be perfect, but the hook's bad and it'll look like everything's off. Really, we just got to change that one piece. So how do you write a hook? Guys, this is not a copywriting course. It's not a copywriting, and writing a hook is its own discipline. But I just want to give you a quick example. I like to, so stick with me for just a second here, right? I'm going to go into that marketplace and I'm going to say like, hey, right, what do I say to get the attention of my dream buyer? My favorite go-to method to write a hook so I get more leads is to think through the dream scenario that I want someone to be in their life when they hear about me. For example, I recently did a virtual summit. It was about a year ago. I did a virtual summit and this was the hook. Okay, so I'm giving you a few examples of mine. The doctor delivers terrible news and says that unless you stop working in 90 days, you're gonna die. What would your final offer be that would fund the rest of your life? That's intense. It's also not that inconceivable, right? Especially with all the stuff that's been going on. More and more people like, hey, I'm running out of my revenue. I'm running out of my income options here, right? So what I did is I created a hook that said, oh my gosh, I'm in a situation in my life where I have to have this work or I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I made that my hook. The dream scenario that you wanna be working with somebody in is one of the greatest hooks to use to get people's attention in your marketplace. Let me give you another example. I had a network marketing product I sold a while ago, and I was selling it to people who were tired of pitching friends and family, right? And so I needed to call them out. This was the hook. I said, my 3-step process to auto-recruit a downline of big producers without friends and family even knowing that I'm in MLM. I don't care what you think about MLM, just listen to the lesson, okay? And so what am I doing? I'm calling out the frustration. I'm calling out the dream scenario that I want someone to be in their life and their business, and I just use that as a hook, and it becomes a mirror, and people are swimming along, right? The fish, and they're like, oh my gosh, that looks like me, I better bite, whew. Okay, and that's exactly how we do it. So while number 1 says, hey, if you're gonna generate more leads for your business, make sure you're fishing in the right places. Number 2, what's on the hook? What are you putting on there? What's the sentence? What's the statement? What's the thing that you're saying to get them to come in? And one of the easiest ways to do that is literally call out the scenario that you want them to be in their life when they start to buy from you. Hey guys, I'm teaching a lot of stuff that is normally in a lot of paid courses. If you are liking this at all, go ahead and hit the like and the subscribe button. Make sure to hit that little bell for notification. I'm going to come out with new videos as well. If you're not liking this, just go ahead and tell me by putting down in the phrase, here fishy fishy, or something like that. Make fun of my gigantic fish eyeballs, I totally get it. Let's go into the third part here. If you are at all trying to get people just to come in and purchase from you and create a lead, one of the easiest ways to create leads and join your email list or join and subscribe with you or whatever that might be is by giving away value that solves a legitimate problem. So let's keep going through this example here. I know, oh man, I gotta go get more leads. I'm fishing in the right places. I'm pulling people towards me. I'm saying things that are the dream scenario I want to go talk with them in. How do I actually get them to subscribe? How do I get their contact information? How do I make it so that this is a awesome two-way relationship, right? Where I scratch your back, you scratch mine. I'm gonna solve one of your problems. You make it so I can follow up with you, right? Well, one of the things I like to do is I like to think through all of the things that I provide. For example, you're here trying to figure out how to generate more leads. So if I was a smart marketer, I would create something that was like, oh, here's my top 5 ways to create leads on the internet. You can download it for free at blah.com, right? That's basically it. So there needs to be an exchange in information. When you're creating leads and you're creating lead machines, one of the best things you need to understand is that someone's information is their currency. So even if you're not like having them pull their wallet out and take some money out and give it to you for a product, you still can create leads by understanding that their information is their currency. Now, obviously, don't be a dirtbag with their information, right? Protect everyone's stuff, be awesome with it. But at the same time though, like tell them like, hey, I will send you this thing if you just tell me where to send it. Give me your email and I'll send it to your email address immediately, right? Or those little tiny things like that that actually create a lot of opt-ins and engagement is one of the best things you can go do, okay? I like to call them cookies. So it's a cookie, it's a carrot, it's the thing. For me, it's the things like, hey, I'll give you the cookie if you give me this. I'll give you this if you give me this. I want to say something really, really key here with this. When you're going out and you're lead hunting, understand, I don't know who came up with the phrase, the customer is always right. But it's a pile of hot garbage, okay? The customer is not always right. Whoever made that up they got straight A's in school and never ran a business, all right? The customer is always right. Bull crap. Not true at all. When you think about this thing that you're handing over to them, I not only use that as a way to get information, and I tell them like, hey, I'm going to email you this other stuff, and they know that I'm going to email them, but it's also a filter. Okay, if someone can't even give me their email, or someone can't even put their phone number in so I can text and say, hey, you want to jump on a call? If someone can't do that, it's already assigned to me that they are not going to be a dream buyer of mine. Okay, so there's really two things that I do to create a lead. The first is, like I said, I create this little cookie and I'm like, hey, this is gonna solve a legitimate problem. It's very good. I'm not gonna charge for it. And often you'll find that the free stuff you have to work harder to create than the paid stuff. Okay, I don't know why, it's really weird. You work just as hard on that bottom of the value ladder free stuff as you do the top. That little thing though, so you go and you drop that out and you're like, hey, the second thing though is I'm gonna get them to subscribe, I'm gonna get them to opt in, I'm gonna give them that cookie. But the second thing though is I need to start filtering out those who are willing to spend money and those who are not. So there's really two parts to this leads thing, okay? I like to come in and I say, hey, jump on my list because of this. Here's the cookie. So I'm gonna qualify the subscriber, but now I need to filter out the non-buyers. So I will do that by giving away something that's $1. I mean, seriously, the difference between $0 and $1 is huge. Dan Kennedy is one of the guys who's kind of the Michael Jordans of my industry, if you're new to this game. He basically said, the woman who owns 51 pairs of shoes is much more likely to buy another pair of shoes than the woman who owns no pairs of shoes. A buyer is 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 a buyer. I'm nutshelling, okay? But the principle is that I need to filter out those people who are never willing to take their credit card out and buy something from me. So phase one, are they even willing to take my cookie? Are they willing to take my lead gen thing, my lead magnet, and I get them in there? So qualify them. Can they even do that? Step two though, are they really clean leads? Is this a list of people who are actually a potential buyer? Let's test it. Let's do something for even $1. I don't know, could be $7, could be now, but my space comes in and we say, hey, I'm going to filter out those people who aren't even willing. Okay, now those who did take it, those who actually did want to buy that, did actually get that cheap thing, no longer free, cheap, those are my leads. So we filter out, so hopefully you're sticking with me on this, but I have people opt in and buy. And that right there, now those are leads, not just opt-ins. Does that make sense? This will dramatically increase the quality of your list. One of the things we've done recently is we saw the 46 products I've put out in the last 3 years, and we killed probably 80% of them. And the reason is because there was a few products out there that people were opting into. It's getting the wrong person though. It was not bringing in my dream buyer. So I had to go back to the drawing board, tighten up the funnels, tighten up the opt-ins, tighten in the little things that we toss out there to qualify buyers, and it's increased my overall list health because of it. Hey guys, if you want to see a few examples on how to create more leads on the internet, I actually have a free, cool download for you. Go to topleadfunnels.com. topleadfunnels.com. It is an affiliate thing, but I'm giving you a bunch of free tools that I use to continue to bring in leads. And I'll actually give you some cool templates as well that you can literally download and use to create more leads in your business. It's topleadfunnels.com.